Have you seen my friend?
I'm sorry, kid. I have.
Searching all night and... can I use your bathroom?
Here you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, I'm done. Showtime.
You want me to reset?
I'm not afraid.
On my soul.
Let her go.
A small American town, white picket fences, tidy lawns, a church bell ringing somewhere down a tree-lined street. Inside a quiet two-story house at the edge of town, an aging former actress named Gigi pours coffee for her granddaughter, Clare Bleecker. Claire is the kind of girl teachers describe as polite, sweet, easy to forget. She wears a small cross around her neck and whispers prayers under her breath, like a girl who has memorized them since childhood. Everything she says, everything she does, she tells herself it is part of God's will. She repeats those words like a heartbeat, and every night, the same dream. A faceless hunting a baby deer through a dark wood, and then her own hands, slick with blood, held up to the moon. She has no idea that this dream is not a warning, it is a map. The afternoon she walks home from school changes nothing about Claire and everything about the town she lives in. The buses are closed. Two friends point at the notice on the board. Claire shrugs, ready to make the walk, when a stranger in a dirty sedan pulls up beside her and asks for directions. He smiles. He shows her photos of two little daughters. He offers her money. She hesitates. Then she gets in. The car smells wrong before they leave the curb. Old food, old sweat, the kind of grime that has been baking into the upholstery for years. A phone rings in his pocket, the same phone he just claimed was dead. The doors lock with a soft, deliberate click. Claire asks him gently to pull over at the next stop. He keeps driving. He does not look at her.
It's good.
I'm not afraid.
What was that?
I have nothing to worry about.
She slides the seatbelt around his throat before he can reach for the dashboard. He claws at the strap. The car drifts, lurches, slams off the road into a stand of dry brush. Claire climbs out of the wreck, dusts the glass from her hair, and walks back to the driver's side with a kitchen knife she's been carrying in her bag for years. She does not rush. She does not flinch. When she is finished, she wipes the door handles, the seatbelt, the dashboard, every surface she touched, and walks home through the long grass like a girl who has been here before. Because she has. The man in the car thought he had trapped a schoolgirl. He had trapped a saint with a blade.
Why have you made me this way?
At home, she scrubs the blood from her shoes in the bathroom sink with the calm of a woman doing dishes. The water runs pink, then clear. Downstairs, her oldest friend, Juliana, is waiting on the couch with two textbooks open between them. They were supposed to study tonight. Claire smiles and lies easily she was at Goat's Cafe. Her phone was dead. She lost track of time. Juliana nods. Then, as she leaves, she mentions almost casually that Goat's Cafe was closed all day for a private event. The door shuts. Claire stands very still in the hallway. Her oldest friend has just told her without saying a word that she knows. In her bedroom, the air shifts. A man is sitting on her windowsill, middle-aged, mild-faced, dressed in the blue-gray uniform of a mailman. His name is Bob. Years ago, Claire killed him by accident, and ever since, his ghost has lingered in the corners of her life like a stubborn shadow. He tells her the man she killed in the car will bring trouble tomorrow. She tells him to leave. She has never been good at listening to ghosts.
What are you doing down there? I'm gonna call someone for help.
No, please, don't. Just give me a hand.
Okay.
Okay, off me. Oh, please.
The next morning at school, Amity and Juliana whisper about Teresa Holmes, the girl who vanished from their hallway last year and was never seen again. The man who took her, they say, always used the same trick. Photos of daughters, a request for directions, a ride no one ever came back from. Claire lowers her head into her locker so they will not see her face. The man in the car had not been hunting strangers. He had been hunting girls she knew.
Remember that, Claire.
By lunchtime, a detective named Timmons is walking the hallways. Quiet voice, tired eyes. The patience of a man who knows guilt reveals itself given enough silence. He asks Claire where she was between 2 and 8 the day before. Her mind goes blank for a single breathless second. She invents a schedule on the spot. Timmons writes it down without comment, but his eyes do not leave her face. He has no evidence. He lets her go. He will be back. What is a girl supposed to do when she has killed a kidnapper, and the only thing the world wants to ask her is where she was at 4 in the afternoon? Walking home, Claire crosses paths with Wade Amity's ex-boyfriend, a smiling boy with expensive sneakers and easy charm. He offers her a ride. He invites her to a party at his house that night. Claire almost says no, but Bob, leaning in from somewhere behind her shoulder, whispers that she should go, so she goes.
No more killing. I am the result of a fallen world, but has to give light.
The party is loud and warm and full of teenagers who have never had to wipe blood from a doorframe. Upstairs, Claire slips into a bathroom. Down on the lawn, blue and red lights begin to flash. A neighbor has called the police about the noise. The party collapses into shouting and slammed doors. Claire ducks into the first bedroom she finds, presses her back to the wall, and knocks a stack of photographs off a dresser as she steadies herself. She kneels to gather them, and the world goes very, very quiet. The photographs are of girls, drugged, unconscious, their clothes loose, their mouths half open, their eyes rolled back. One of the faces in the stack is Teresa Holmes. Claire's fingers tremble for the first time in months. A door opens behind her. Wade asks her, with a smile that does not reach his teeth, what she is doing in his bedroom. She tells him she was hiding from the cops. He offers her a cigarette. She refuses, takes the long way home, and lies awake all night staring at her ceiling. The kidnapper in the car was not a stranger passing through. He was a piece of a machine that has been running in her town for years, and Wade is part of it. In the morning, she auditions for the school play opposite Amity and asks her gently whether Wade was ever rough with her. Amity hears the wrong question. She hears an accusation, a betrayal, a friend who slipped off to her ex-boyfriend's party behind her back. The conversation ends in tears. Claire tries Juliana next, telling her about the photos in Wade's bedroom. Juliana laughs. Wade does not drink, she says. Wade does not do drugs. Wade does not lie. Claire watches her oldest friend defend a monster and walks away with the cold understanding that some doors cannot be opened from the outside. Some warnings, no matter how true, fall on the deaf ears of the people who need them most. And some girls only believe in the dark after it has already closed around their throats. That afternoon, dodging Timmons through a hallway, Claire slips into the empty school theater and locks the door behind her. The director, Mr. Edward, looks up from his script and offers her, on the spot, the male lead in the school play opposite Amity. She accepts. Timmons pounds on the door. He catches her in the dean's office an hour later. A witness, he tells her, saw a red-headed girl at that bus stop the day of the crash. Claire recites her schedule again, word for word, smooth as a prayer. Timmons leans across the desk and points out the 3-hour gap she cannot account for. She holds his stare. He sends her home with a warning. He does not have what he needs. Not yet.
You have a 3-hour gap in your alibi. There's the door.
That night, drunk on her grandmother's wine, Claire follows Bob's whispered suggestion and breaks into an abandoned house on the edge of town. In the dust-furred living room, she finds a video camera and a stack of photographs. Some of the photographs are of her taken at Wade's party. Claire understands then that the camera around Helga's neck has been feeding girls into something dark for a long time. At school the next day, she does not warn Helga. She punches him in the face. Claire tells him to stay away and walks off down the hallway with the silence of a girl who has decided not to ask politely anymore. She does not make it home before the news reaches her. Juliana has vanished. Claire's grief arrives the way every grief in her life has arrived, late, quiet, and sharpened into a weapon. By the time she gets back to her grandmother's house, the police have announced a curfew. Gigi is waiting at the kitchen table. In front of her, on the wood grain, lies a bloody knife. She found it in Claire's drawer. Her voice shakes. She tells Claire she has already lost a daughter. She will not lose a granddaughter. She forbids her from leaving.
Are you serious?
Claire leaves anyway. She walks across town to the small Catholic church on the corner and kneels at the feet of the Virgin Mary. She apologizes for the blood. She begs for direction. And when she lifts her eyes to the statue's face, the face is no longer Mary's. It is Juliana's. Mouth open in a soundless scream, Claire rises from her knees with the calm of a girl who has been given her orders. She breaks into Helga's house that night and pins him against a wall. She demands to know who told him to take the photos. Helga, sobbing, tells the truth. His camera was stolen at the party. He has not seen the photos before, but the basement in the picture, the tile on the wall, the angle of the windows, he knows that house. He did a modeling shoot there once, through a small ad agency. He gives Claire the address. Claire goes alone. She knocks on the door like any lost girl in any small town. A polite-looking man opens it. She tells him she is looking for a missing friend. She asks, sweetly, if she could use his bathroom. He invites her in. She asks for a glass of water. She watches him slip something into it. She drinks it down without blinking. She lets the room tilt sideways. She lets him carry her down to the basement and tie her to a chair. Sometimes the only way through the door is to be dragged through it. When she wakes, Juliana is tied to a chair across from her, alive but slack. The polite man is on the phone in the next room. His name is Randall Morton. He is the identical twin of the man Claire strangled in the sedan. The brothers have been running a trafficking ring out of this house for years, selling girls to wealthy clients with names Claire does not know yet, names like Gibbs. A transport truck is coming in 1 hour to take the girls away. There is also, Randall says into the phone, a new recruit, someone fresh, someone trusted. The brothers' empire has not died with one brother. It has grown another head.
You are so high.
I was born to do this. I am not afraid.
Claire finishes cutting her wrists free from the rope. She palms a pair of scissors from the table beside her. She drives them into the guard's stomach without changing her expression. She moves through the rest of them the way she has been moving through her dreams since she was a child, quietly, efficiently, with her grandmother's old prayers humming somewhere behind her teeth. She ends up with a pistol in her hand and Randall 10 feet away, scissors pressed to Juliana's throat. She cannot fire without killing her friend.
On my soul.
Let her go.
Help us, please!
A siren cuts through the night outside. Headlights wash the basement walls. Claire almost cries with relief until the door opens and Detective Timmons walks in. Tired eyes, quiet voice, standing on Randall's side of the room. The detective has been part of the ring the whole time.
Go on.
In the second of stillness that follows, Randall lunges. Claire fires. The bullet catches him in the shoulder and drops him. Timmons turns and runs. Claire frees Juliana with shaking hands, walks the survivors out of the basement, and by morning, the front page of every paper in the state is screaming about Oak Street and the men who live there. She does not feel triumphant. She feels tired. She walks home through the dawn the way a person walks home from a funeral.
She walked into the scene up to the wolf's mouth.
The front door of her grandmother's house is ajar. Gigi is on the kitchen floor, her eyes open and unseeing, her hands still curled around the corner of a chair. Timmons is sitting in Gigi's reading chair when Claire turns into the living room, blood on his knuckles, calm as Sunday. He offers her a partnership. He knows about the mailman. He knows about the kidnapper. He tells her they could run this town together. He tells her she has no one left to lose.
How do I do that?
He is right about almost everything. She lunges at him with her knife. He catches her wrist, throws her against the wall, gets his hands around her throat, and drags her out into the backyard. He pushes her under the surface of the swimming pool and holds her there until she stops fighting. He stands up. He wipes his hands on his slacks. He turns toward the back door, and behind him, very slowly, the water breaks. Claire rises out of it like a girl pulled back into the world by something older than mercy. She is on him before he can scream. She snaps his neck in the dark beside the deep end. She lets him drop into the grass at her feet. Some debts are paid in courtrooms. Some debts are paid in the quiet of a backyard, with chlorine in your hair and your grandmother still warm on the kitchen floor. In the weeks after, the town tries to pretend it is healing. Juliana comes back to school. The press moves on to the next story. Claire gets ready in the dressing room for the school play, threading a costume over her shoulders, painting her mouth in the mirror like a girl who has rehearsed everything. Bob is leaning against the makeup table when she turns around. She tells him Gigi is dead. He says he already knows. He says Gigi is watching her now from somewhere far better than Oak Street, and then he tells her gently that her work is not finished. He leans close and whispers a string of numbers into her ear. Then he is gone.
Raw stuff. What about the recruiter?
It takes Claire an hour to recognize the numbers as a phone passcode. It takes her another minute to recognize whose phone. She unlocks Amity's phone in the wings of the school auditorium and reads the messages without breathing. Amity is the new recruit. Amity has been working for Gibbs all along. Amity was the smile across the lunch table the whole time. Claire walks calmly to the prop table at the side of the stage. She picks up the fake knife meant for her character's final scene. She slips it into the pocket of her costume. In its place on the table, she lays her own. The curtain rises. The audience hushes. A crimson spotlight finds her in the center of the stage and pools around her like blood. Her eyes are not Claire's anymore. They are something older, something patient, something that has been waiting all along for the last name on its list. The play begins. Some saints are made in churches. Others are made in the wreckage of everyone they could not save. And in the dark behind the spotlight, the very last chapter of Oak Street waits its turn.